Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Paula. On this channel we talk about crypto, macro events, geopolitics and the wider financial system. Because the truth is, you can't really understand what's happening in crypto unless you understand what's happening in the world around it. But today I want to zoom in on the XRP chart because something interesting has been happening for quite a long time now that a lot of people haven't really stepped back and looked at properly. Just a quick reminder that nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm simply sharing my personal thoughts and observations on the market. Always do your own research before making any financial decisions. Right, let's look at XRP. XRP has actually been moving inside the same general pattern since around July. And if you zoom out on the chart, you can see that price has basically been drifting lower inside what traders call a descending channel. Now, don't worry about the technical term too much. All it really means is the market has been making slightly lower highs and slightly lower lows over time. So every time XRP tries to push up, it struggles and it gets pushed back down. Then it finds support somewhere lower down and tries to bounce again, and the process repeats. This has been happening for months. Now, that might sound like bad news, but what's interesting is what's happening right now inside that structure. Because XRP has started moving sideways in a pretty tight range. And when markets move sideways after a long trend, it often means the market is trying to decide what to do next. So, let me show you what I mean. If you look at this chart here, this is all the way back from July 2025, and this channel has descended all the way down. We've come from all-time highs. This reached $3.70 almost, and now we're trading somewhere around $1.33. But if we flip this chart away from the weekly chart and have a look on the daily, you'll be able to see this consolidation period that I've been looking at. This parallel channel is basically where the price has been bouncing around. At the bottom of the range, buyers have been stepping in and pushing prices back up. At the top of that range, sellers have been stepping in and pushing price back down. So XRP is effectively stuck between those two areas. Think of it like a big tug of war. Buyers pulling the market one way, sellers pulling it the other way. And right now, neither side has really won. Now, the reason this area matters is because it lines up with a few other things on the chart. What we're seeing right now is the market getting squeezed. Support underneath the price, pressure from above it. And that's usually when things start getting interesting, because markets rarely stay stuck like this forever. Eventually something gives. Either buyers manage to push the prices higher, or sellers take control and push the market lower. Now, let's talk about what those two possibilities might look like. First, the upside scenario. If XRP manages to push above the top of this range, somewhere around the mid-40s, that would be the first sign buyers are starting to regain some control. From there, the market would probably start testing the next areas where price struggled before. Those levels are around the mid-150s, where we struggled to break out with any kind of momentum before, and then higher up towards this fair value gap, around 170. And if momentum really started building again, the next big area the market would probably start paying attention to is in the region just above the $2 mark. This is where the price previously found support before it fell again. And markets often return to those kind of areas later on. But of course, there's another possibility as well. If XRP fails to hold this range and drops below the bottom of this box here, that would suggest sellers are still in control of the bigger trend. In that case, the market could move back down towards the lower boundary of the larger channel. And below that, there's another area where buyers previously stepped in around the low $1 range. Now, this doesn't mean that that's definitely where price will go, but those are the kind of levels markets tend to gravitate towards when momentum builds. So at the moment, XRP is sitting in what you could think of as a decision zone. Above it, there's room for price to move higher if buyers take control. Below it, there's room for price to move lower if sellers stay in charge. And until one of those sides wins, the market may just continue bouncing around inside this range. Now, one thing that's worth remembering is that this entire structure has been building for quite a long time. This isn't a pattern that's just formed over a few days. It's something that's been developing for months. And historically, when markets spend a long time moving sideways like this, the move that eventually can follow can be quite strong. But there's also a psychological side to this that people sometimes overlook. When markets move slowly or sideways for long periods of time, people tend to lose interest. Traders get bored, investors get frustrated, and the asset starts to feel like it's going nowhere. Ironically, those moments often happen right before markets begin their next phase. Now, that doesn't mean that XRP is guaranteed to move higher from here. Markets don't work like that. But what it does tell us is that something has been building under the surface for quite a while now. And sooner or later, the market will decide which direction it wants to move. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to mention something quickly for anyone who feels like they're navigating this market alone. Because a lot of retail traders feel exactly that way. They're trying to read the charts by themselves, trying to interpret the news, trying to understand macro events without really having anyone to discuss it with. That's actually one of the reasons we created the Crypto Wolfpack. It's a community where normal people can connect, share experiences, read charts together, discuss macro events and wider news, access trading signals, and join daily live streams. And if you want to know the exact strategies we use in the Crypto Wolfpack to make money in both the bull market and the bear market, we've made a completely free course for you. The link is in the description below. And of course, if you're holding crypto long term, security is incredibly important right now. Personally, I'm a big fan of Tangent wallets because they make cold storage extremely simple. If you want to check them out, I'll leave a link in the description and you can use the code Paula at the checkout for an extra discount. Make sure you use their seasonal discounts on their website as well. So to bring everything together, XRP has been moving inside the same general structure since July. Price is currently sitting inside a range where buyers and sellers are battling for control. If the market breaks above the top of that range, XRP could start testing higher levels again. If it breaks below the bottom, the larger downward trend could continue for a while longer. But either way, the longer the market stays compressed inside this structure, the more interesting the eventual breakout could become. So the real question isn't whether XRP will move. The real question is which direction the market chooses next. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.